100 million euros off the release clause. Well, that's what reports are suggesting with Rafa, Leao, and Chelsea, of course, remain interested. We've been interested for ages. Arsenal very much need a left winger, also looking at him. We're going to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. As always, mate, I do hope you're doing well. Really do hope that. Yeah, so welcome back to Chelsea News. We're also going to preview the huge Newcastle game away at St James's Park. At time of recording, Enzo Maresca hasn't spoken to the media, but that's fine. I know-ish what team he's going to put out, and we'll, speculate on Newcastle as well. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about why I'm terrified of Anthony and Isco. Our, of course, players of Real Betis, our Europa Conference League final opponents. So, welcome, settle in, thank you for joining me, thank you as always for supporting my content here. I really do appreciate it, man, really. I feel like you're all just nice friends, nice people, the Football Therapy community. So, subscribe if you want to be part of that. Thanks for liking the video. Let's get into it. Before we speak about Leao and the weekend game, so Betis are our, why is that hard to say? They are our opposition in the Europa Conference League final. Anthony, of course, scoring and assisting, winning man of the match yet again. He's in oddly scintillating form. The commentary team in extra time that I was watching after Chelsea yesterday were calling him the maestro. You've got Isco coming out post-match saying, we're not scared of Chelsea. We've beaten Real Madrid this season. We've gone toe-to-toe with Barcelona. Don't worry about it. And I must say, I don't like that kind of talk. Can I have Jagarden back? Yeah. What happened to FC Noah? This isn't what I signed up for. It's kind of a reminder that par was reaching the final for Chelsea, especially with the side of the draw we were on. But this is, Betis is a serious team. They're a serious team. They're playing well. I was looking at them like, I know him. I'm not supposed to know these players. This is the Conference League. So, we'll see what happens. People will have to take the contest seriously. And look, go watch my match review yesterday if you want to, reacting to the semi-final win. Victory 5-1 on AG with some nice stories in terms of playing 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, the Chelsea Academy coming through. It was a good story. And I maintain my position. I don't ever want to be in the Conference League again, but I absolutely want to win it. And I always wanted to win it. I saw great benefits of it being our European competition this season for a new young manager, for a very young squad, an opportunity to mix, blend, learn about players. And I keep saying it, bro. Winning is a habit. Look at Arsenal. They're an amazing team. They haven't won a trophy in half a decade. Those players aren't. They're not in a habit of winning trophies. The Conference League is a trophy. It will complete the set for Chelsea. The first team in Europe to win every single trophy. Get it done. Lift the trophy. See what it feels like. Now go and win some other ones. That's how I feel about it. Okay. Rafa, Leao. We're going to... Maybe, I tell you what, if we're feeling a bit spicy, we might look at his stats, yeah? I'm sure we'll see. Let's see. First of all, for reference, guys, this is coming from Court Offside. Again, an exclusive by Mark Bruce. Do you reckon it's Bru or Bruce? Or Mark Bru, like a sort of European name? Who knows? Chelsea open talks over €75 million transfer. Arsenal, of course, are also in the mix for Leao. They've long been wanting an upgrade on that left side over Martinelli because the quality drop-off is incredible from Saka on the right. I'm just wondering, how much is... €75 million is €63 million. That's the base fee we paid for Mudryk. And it's Rafa Leao. Starts up front with Cristiano Ronaldo or others for Portugal. Ooh. I mean, Neto is a good Portuguese player we signed, and he will get better at Chelsea. I will die on that hill. Joao Felix, another... I mean, can I just... Hold on, I just need to check something. Yep, Jorge Mendes is Rafa Leao's agent. I knew it! Just like... Just like Joao Felix and other players that we've dealt with George Mensch so many times. Does that give us an edge? Well, Todd Bowley's mates with him, innit? He went, first thing he did when he bought Chelsea is he went for dinner with him and wanted to buy Cristiano Ronaldo. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe, but we've done loads of this new Chelsea ownership has a relationship with the remaining super agent in world football. Anyway, let's find out what this story is saying, okay? Chelsea have initiated informal, casual, have a beer, text him, contacts over a potential transfer for Milan forward Rafael Leao, who's also been considered by Arsenal. We've long been in for Leao, okay? This isn't new. So this isn't just a story spin the wheel, by the way. This is legitimate interest. The Portugal international has a 175 million euro release clause at Milan, but caught offside understands that the Serie A giants could realistically let him go for more like 75 million. And they're having a tough time, of course, in Italy at the moment, Milan. Leao is a top talent who could shine in the Premier League. By the way, genuinely, that is, when you look at these Bundesliga players, like your Werners and maybe in Kunku, but he never really got integrated in a side to help him. But a lot of Bundesliga players come to England and struggle. Leao is built for the Premier League. He's like big, tall and strong. He's a little bit like Noni Madueke in terms of strong and direct and quite big for a winger. I mean, I think he's even taller than and bigger than Noni, but he does look like, yes, please, I'm a Premier League winger. Of course, you get diminutive small wingers like, Neto, the aforementioned, another Portuguese international that we own. But I genuinely think Leao has got the traits, as it were, to be a real successful Premier League winger. He's a top talent that could shine in the Prem. Chelsea and Arsenal interested. Sources have informed caught offside Chelsea's interest is currently the most advanced. With some initial talks underway. Arsenal are keeping an eye on Leao as possible alternative for their top target, Nico Williams. Yeah, Nico Williams is like the other high-profile young player, but, not been playing overly well recently. Not sure he's worth the wages. What next for Leao as the transfer race hots up? He's also, unsurprisingly, attracting interest from Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League. Probably his countryman, Ronaldo, trying to get him over to his Saudi team. But because he's 25, he wants to stay in Europe. That should give Chelsea a clear advantage in the race for his signature, though it will be interesting to see if Arsenal could end up stepping up their interest. The Gunners urgently need to strengthen the attack in the summer, big time. They very much need a striker. As do we. And Leao looks like the perfect kind of profile to give Arteta something. Yeah, I think he'd be great at Arsenal and Chelsea, to be honest. But the way Arteta is trying to build this like physically dominant side, he kind of suits that, Leao. Rafael to Chelsea at Arsenal. Leao would be an exciting addition to the Premier League, but where would be a better move for him, Chelsea or Arsenal? The Blues seem some way away from challenging for the biggest trophies, but they do at least look like we're in a strong position to qualify for the UCL. God, I hope so. Still, Arsenal are probably the more impressive project right now. Ooh, I just don't know. Maybe because they're like constantly doing well, but there's a sort of excitement about Chelsea, like, ooh, everyone's coming to Chelsea. Andre Santos, Esteval Willian, even the young prodigy goalkeeper Mike Penders, and they're starting to find some form, and they just beat Liverpool, drunk Liverpool. But I don't know, I do think there's something to be said about what's happening at Chelsea, and whether you agree with it or not, and that's totally fine, it's a game of opinions, there seems to be this project that's being presented to agents and parents of players that they just go, yeah, cool. And you hear it from Esteval and his Players Tribune interview. Loads of teams were in for Esteval, and he said, yeah, people don't understand, but we saw what's happening at Chelsea and we're really, really into it. I tell you what, we won't look at his stats now. We'll do a deep dive on Rafael's stats in another video because we're already 10 minutes in and I want to talk about the game on the weekend. But we'll do some stuff on Rafael. We'll X-value him, we'll understat him, we'll do all those terrible things to him, and we'll find out basically Wagwan and what we think. Because also Milan have been horrendously off the boil, so we'll get into that. Okay, so let's talk about Newcastle away. By far our hardest remaining fixture of the three. Of course, Forest away will be tough as well, and that might literally be a showdown for Champions League on the final day. They drew away to Brighton, which is a good result for us. I would have preferred if they'd lost, because then we'd actually be above them in the Premier League table. But they drew 1-1 away at the Amex. But as you can see, they were statistically dominant on shots on target, possession, passes, yada, 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 less fouls and stuff. And they eventually got their equaliser through a penalty from Isak. So here they are. Of course, we've basically seen the wingers transform, because it was Anthony Gordon and Isak and, maybe Jacob Murphy in and out. But Murphy's been in scintillating form of late, as is Harvey Barnes. Both of these, man, have been like the sort of the wingers that make them click. Of course, a huge talking point is Joel Linton is out for the season, so it's Willock is the guy to join Tonali and Guimaraes in midfield. Although the likes of Anthony Gordon is available now, and Callum Wilson also came off the bench in this game. It's a very strong team still, and of course, they got the quality. It's just such a huge game. They're at St. James's Park. It's a massive, massive game. Like, I would probably take it. I'd be not very happy, but like a lot of Chelsea fans are calculating, if we get 2 wins, we're good. 2 out of the 3, yeah? We're in a position now where, and especially like if one of them's against Forest away. So we could lose this game, beat Man United at home, which, yeah, man. Oh no, is it away or is it at home? I can't remember what it is. Anyway, Man United, but because they've reached the Europa League final, and it's not actually, let me just double check. Yeah, so oddly, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like the Europa League final was before their final Premier League fixture, yeah, which doesn't necessarily, I thought all the finals were after the domestic season. I guess I'm wrong. I seem to remember us going to Baku in the Europa League final after the season's done. Maybe I'm wrong. So they got West Ham at home. But yeah, so Man United played Chelsea 5 days before the Europa League final, away in Europe somewhere. So they should rotate heavily, and it is at Stamford Bridge, all right? So can we please say that one is safe in the bag? Man United's the second team, yeah? So we win that one, and then we hopefully, you go away to Forest, at the City Ground, and that's a straight shootout game for Champions League. Whoever wins gets Champions League, which is a really tough game, especially the atmosphere away there will be amazing. Similarly, St. James's Park. But this is a kind of game, whatever happens. We lose, fair enough, it's still in our hands. We draw, pretty good, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's good. We win, hot dog. We are cooking. But it's going to be tough for those players. I've shown you the quality, and of course, But Chelsea are in form. We are in form, and we're going to build a lineup here. Now, as you can see, this is I was going to say an in possession. Let me just quickly change this. Okay, yeah, I've changed it slightly. This is the best I can do in terms of making an in possession shape of Maresca ball at Chelsea, because it's kind of a box midfield. These will be wingers basically, and these cams will be the pocket players a little bit deeper. So that's the best I can do. It'll be a little bit more reserved than that, but this is kind of what it will look like. So Rob Sanchez in goal, who, say it quietly, has been serviceable of late and has not done anything too silly. God bless him. So good for him. Cucurella, of course, did play on Thursday. We don't have options at the moment, but he will, of course, play that role there, which means Levi Colwill will play as the central defender there. And Chalobah did also feature, but he should be good to go to play, and that sort of makes the de facto back three. We've also starting at right back out of possession, but then inverting into the midfield is, of course, Caicedo. And that means Caicedo will join Lavia. And that is the base of our box midfield. Yeah. We will play Pedro Neto on his favoured and native right wing, which means I do think we will continue the experiment of Noni Madueke playing as a left winger. And this is interesting here because he actually does occupy this kind of space on this new sort of system. We've looked at the heat maps the last couple of games, haven't we? And he does kind of occupy that space, and it's more Neto that goes forward here, there, and Noni that stays back. Now these aren't wingers; these are pocket players. So of course, the right pocket is none other than the man who's man of the match last time out, and oh my word, can he bring that form to St James's Park? Cole Ruddy Palmer, which means Enzo Fernandez continuing, and he'll wear the captain's armband on the day, playing in the left pocket. So he's kind of here. Yeah, remember, it's that box midfield. And yeah, although he was pretty poor last time out, Nico Jackson will keep his position up front there. It's robust, it's strong, it's quality, but will it keep Alexander Isak, the new informed wingers, and a good midfield, even in the absence of Joel Linton, at bay? I don't know. Again, to reiterate, guys, this is one of those games that any result is not okay, but is, you can get by, basically. I'm going to predict I don't think it's going to be a ding-dong. I think our defense is better. I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw, and I'll be quite happy with that. And, yeah, there is actually, we could, there's almost potentially an instance where we draw in Newcastle, we draw at home to United, which, we draw at Newcastle, we beat United at home, 4 points. We draw with Forest away, so that's 2 draws and a win against United. And I still think that would do it with 5 points because we're keeping Forest at bay, basically, not overtaking us. My math might not be mathing entirely, but that's what I think. That's what I'm assuming. Let me know what you think. Please do leave your comments down in the comment section regarding Rafael and indeed this game the day after tomorrow. Thank you for liking and subscribing. A quick reminder to those of you still watching that there is daily content on the sister channel, Football Yannick. If you want my thoughts on all the other football clubs, do go subscribe to that. We're getting some wicked momentum over there. There's a link in the top of the description. Other than that, I'll thank you again. Hope to see you back here soon. Enjoy the football. Peace.